Hello and welcome to Success Story Chronicles. This is episode number 8. Today we have Anil Garg. There are people in the world, those who are good at technical skills, and the people, those who are good at soft skills. And it's very rare to find people who are who are good at with both skills. Anil is one of those people. He is technically very sound and also very socially intelligent person. I have experienced it. He has worked with me 2 years, the same company that I've been working with. So, welcome, Anil. Thank you very much for giving us time today. How are you today?
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. Yeah, doing very good.
Okay, all right. So generally, I start with the introduction. If you can just briefly introduce yourself, then I'll have follow up questions.
Okay, all right. So my name is Anil Garg. I am 52-year-old. I maybe I'll start in the reverse order. So I've been working and living in Canada for the last 15 years. Mostly working in the oil and gas projects area of work. Although a couple of years I had the opportunity of working with the Yunus and mining company in Saskatchewan. So we have been, working and living in Calgary, in Alberta, in Canada. So my experience here had been with oil companies like Suncor and Shell, and also with some EPC houses like Bentrel Bechtel and SNC-Lavalin. Before moving to Canada in 2006, I worked and we lived in Kuwait for about 8 years, working for the national oil company there, again in the project execution world. And before that, I worked with the Indian oil company, Hindustan Petroleum, for about 6 years in Mumbai, in India. This is after I graduated as a mechanical engineer in 1989, long time back.
Oh, that's great. Thanks, Anil. So, which year, Anil, did you move to Canada?
It was in 2006 that we moved with the whole family. uh, I did not go into the loop of getting the PR and then first landing and then taking 2-3 years to decide whether we want to move to Canada.
Mhm.
We got our PR and we just packed our bags and came here.
Right. Was it a deputation for you, or no? You came here as a fresh new immigrant and then
Yeah,
started your care.
yeah, we got our PR and yeah, we just decided to quit the job in Kuwait and came here.
Okay, and then you landed in Calgary.
Yeah, and I mean, the reason why we landed in Calgary was there were some family friends who had already come here to Calgary. And since Alberta is the oil province of Canada, and I have all my experience in oil and gas, so this was the natural place to come and work and live here.
For sure, for sure. So, how did your professional journey start here in Calgary? How long did it take for you to get to break into the job market? And what was your experience early on?
Yeah, well, I would say I was very fortunate that the time 2006, when we planned to come here, the job market was very good. So uh, it did not actually take any time for me to get the breakthrough to get a job. And in fact, the job market was so good at that time that sitting in Kuwait, I have had telephonic interviews, and I already had a job in hand when I came here with an EPC company.
Well, that's great. Not many people have that sort of advantage when they're moving here in Canada. So that's great.
Yeah, the only maybe lesson learned or uh, experience I would like to share with the new immigrants is when you decide to make a move like this to Canada or any other country as a new immigrant, I would say get started maybe 6 months or 1 year in advance Don't just apply for the PR, and when you get the PR, come here. Start doing your homework and start doing your application job applications almost, I would say, 6 months before, uh, indicating the likely date when you will be immigrating here. So that gives you, I would say, some advantage in terms of you knowing the job market, as well as employer reaching out to you in case they are interested. So that proactive action really helped me to, have a job before I landed here.
No, that's a good point. Pre-landing phase is always as important as after landing, post-landing. So you need to head start, jump start your job search and everything else. In one of the interviews that I had with someone else, she also mentioned that actually your job hunt and your development should start very early on when you decided to move to Canada. So either 6 months or 1 year is a good time to understand the culture and job market and companies and all those things,
Mhm.
employers. So, okay. So, sorry, you were saying something?
No, no, maybe just to add to that, it is not only applicable to, I would say, the person who is trying to get the job here, either you or your spouse, but also applicable for the whole family.
Yeah.
Start looking at the area or the city where you want to live, the schools where your kids could be going to, the kind of opportunity if your spouse is planning to work. I would say the whole family should get engaged in looking at or getting familiarized with the country, the way things are, and taking any proactive actions for their relocation and settlement here.
Yeah, that's really a good point. Generally, we miss out on all those, which schools kids gonna go to, which areas that you are going to maybe, first start living, so that you're familiar with the schools and schooling systems and many other factors, groceries and rents and other settlement factors as well that you need to be aware of those. Okay, Anil. So let's move on. So you have worked in India and you have international experience as well when you came here, especially in oil and gas. So when you started working here, what was your first sort of, reaction or first sort of, observations that you thought that Canada is a different market?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think my initial impressions were overall good, I would say, from a professional point of view. Uh, Comparing it to, let us say, the job atmosphere or the working style which we have back in India, Pakistan, or maybe to some extent in Kuwait, is uh, that your supervisors or your bosses have a lot of influence on the way you work. Call it the professional freedom to perform your day-to-day activities, or just maybe agreeing to what their viewpoint is. So a marked difference I could find was that there is much more professional freedom here to work, to do the work you think is the best way for the organization which you are working, or from a technical point of view. I was touching upon two main aspects. One is the professional freedom to work here compared to the working atmosphere which we experienced in India and Pakistan. Like, boss is always right there, or you would do the things as your boss will tell to do. But here, as a professional, you are given the professional freedom to give your point of view and even do your work accordingly. So that was one. And then the other one was again, your the respect you get at whatever level in the organization you are. Even if you are at the starting level, you do have the same respect as a general manager or a director in the company would have. and it is not that you are just doing work for them. It is you do work as per the role which is defined for you.
No, that's great. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So, in regards to social intelligence or soft skills, which are, I think, get talked about a lot here in Canada. We don't really talk about those things back home or, or other countries, but touch upon those soft skills that, and especially how did you develop, that social intelligence that I see that you are, I mean, do better than the others. A lot of people, I think, struggle in that area. So what is your take on it?
So maybe the social skills in the professional setup. Maybe I can talk to that first. Uh, Again, when we come as a new immigrant to this country from India or Pakistan or other Eastern countries or even Middle East, uh, we uh, first of all, our public speaking skills or the presentation skills are not as well developed. So that is one aspect. Although it is not purely soft skill, it is more of a technical or that kind of skill. But that is an area where a lot of us need to pay specific attention to and develop those, because again, in this part of the world, those are the kind of skills which matter a lot in addition to your pure technical work and technical skills. You might be a super expert in your technical work, but if you cannot really present your work, then it might affect your career, even breakthrough in the job or maybe progression in your career progression here. So that is one part. The other part is of the soft skill is teamwork. So making I would say connections to all the team members, your stakeholders, be it your direct team members, your let us say peers or your seniors or the other stakeholders, but also other functions. So I think that is another thing I realized here, that it is very important to make those call it personal or semi official connection with those people, so that when it comes to a setting that you have to either work with them as a team, then you really get the kind of cooperation and coordination which is required to really produce a quality product. So that was the other part I think I noticed. Yeah, apart from that, diversity and inclusion is another big requirement here, I would say. Uh, don't have biases, be it based on country of origin or religion or ethnicity or technical background and all. You have to keep your mind open to work with every kind of team member in your day-to-day work.
Okay, great. You made some good points there. Now, in terms of development, since you came here in Canada, uh, what developments opportunities you took, and then where you are in careers now, if you look back, what are the professional developments that you do, and for somebody who's coming as mechanical engineers can actually sort of, pursue for them to be able to sort of, advance their careers here in Canada?
Yeah, most of the professional development opportunities, I would say I was fortunate enough that through the companies with which I was employed, they did offer me either, it was not technical kind of programs or courses, but more of soft skill development programs.
Mhm.
Uh, I got the opportunity to go through those and hence develop my soft skills. But nevertheless, there are some uh, resources which come into my mind which even if you don't have the opportunity to get it through your employer, you can still pursue. Like there is a Toastmasters group, which is to develop your public speaking skills. So those Toastmaster groups are there in, I think, every city. I would say there are multiple branches in the city where you can go and meet with people like you who want to develop their public speaking skills without any biases and all. So you could go attend their weekly or bi-weekly sessions, and you could speak in front of that group of 15 or 20. So that is a good one. There is one, again, soft skills course, which I got through the company with which I was working, but you can also do it outside. It is called Dale Carnegie. So that is another course which is, develops your team working skills and public speaking skills and, organization skills and all. So those are the kind of the resources which come to my mind. Other than that, when I came here, I worked as a planning engineer or planner scheduler, but I wanted to do my career growth. So I did, again, through the companies with which I was working with, I did get the opportunity to get some leadership development skills, which really helped me to grow into lead and then manager kind of roles.
Okay. Oh, perfect. All right. So you are working as a manager now, so a project controls manager. So someone who likes to pursue their career in Canada, project controls, you briefly mentioned what is project control and who can actually pursue this career.
Okay, yeah. So project controls is a function of project execution. So basically, this particular function, we take care of the schedules, cost, change management, and risk management on projects.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if you want to execute a project, whatever size it is, whether $5 billion or $10 million, we work with developing, plans for the project, the estimates for the project. And once we have gotten approval on those schedules and budget for those projects, then we really monitor how we are doing with respect to that plan and with respect to that schedule and cost, so that we can deliver the project ultimately within that time and cost. And in the process, we not only work with the project team, the company who is getting the project executed, we also work with all the engineering companies, construction contractors, and other outside agencies.
And what tools are generally used in project controls? I'm a project planner as well, so I know Primavera P6, but what other tools do you think are useful to if somebody likes to pursue the career in project controls?
Yeah, the tools which are widely used are Primavera for planning and scheduling. Then there are tools for cost management. Ecosys is one which is very popular nowadays, but you might use other tools like Prism. Then for the estimates, again, there are other tools which are used. And so just a mention of uh, who can pursue a career in project controls in Canada and what will it take for him or her to do that. Uh, so I would say you could come from any background. Like, of course, engineering is preferred because it is still technical, aspects of project execution. But even if you had worked in the finance area, or if you have worked in the cost aspects anywhere, or even I've seen uh, people who have come from admin. It is just that you have to have that orientation to understand numbers, to understand timing or the project schedules and all, and then you could pursue a career. But if you do not have a project control experience beforehand, there are some small duration courses which you could take in places like SAT or university continuing education courses, which touch upon project management or planning, scheduling. So these are like 3 or 6 months kind of courses, where not only they tell you the project execution and project control concepts, but they also give you some experience on these tools like Primavera or cost management tools. And then you could get started as a planner, scheduler, or a cost control analyst kind of role, and then from there you can grow. One thing I would like to mention, that the project controls is quite a soft after skill and profession in Canada. Uh, during downturns, which we frequently have in oil and gas sector
Yeah.
every 2-3 years, I've seen very few of the project control professionals being unemployed compared to some other disciplines.
Mm. And if you are advancing, then definitely you could pursue some certifications as well through PMI or American Cost Certification Institute as well, where they have PMP definitely is one of the flagship certification PMI offers, but they have been planning and cost as well. So is American Cost Engineering Institute as well. So those are some certification as well. Any other certification, Anil, that perhaps they could go for it, like at advanced stage?
Yeah. Basically, it is the PMI, PMP certification which you mentioned, and then ACE, the Cost Association. They have not only cost-oriented certification, but also planning and scheduling professional certification now. So those are the ones, and maybe a specific mention for engineers who are qualified engineers. The good thing about project control function is you need not be a registered or certified.
Mm.
So I know a lot of new immigrants, they face challenges to get the PN certification here, but this is one of the functions where you don't really need it. But any of these certification for PMI or ACE helps. It looks good on your resume.
Great, thank you. This was sort of some light on the technical aspects of project controls, which I wanted to, so that people, those who are basically coming here and then like to pursue project controls as a profession, know a little bit about it. Let's go back to now maybe thinking about somebody who is coming here like 2021 or 2022. Engineers are coming here. What are the what do you think? What recommendations do you have for them? I know you talked about pre-lending stage where they need to start maybe early on, but when they are here, what are the sort of mantras for success, right? Like being an individual, having a family, and then what are your basically some of the points that you think would be useful, having experience here in Canada for years that you have done basically professionally and professionally, and I mean socially as well.
So 2-3 things which come to my mind. First of all, I would say set your expectations right, in the sense don't expect that if you are a professional engineer by study and you have 15-20 years of experience or 5 years of experience, you will come here and straight away get a job in your area of work. From that point of view, I would say maybe do bit analysis and be prepared to do some small duration courses here, be it masters or some kind of diploma, 1 year, 1.5 year, because the local degree or education is it, I would say, increases the probabilities of you getting taking a break as a first job. So I would say plan something like that instead of applying or trying to apply for those jobs which need 10, 15, 20 years experience. And if you don't get it for a few months, then it causes a lot of frustration in the new immigrants, especially the professionals like us. So that is one thing which comes to my mind. The other thing is during that time, then whether you are joining a course here or you are not doing that, maybe uh, plan on finding a job, which may not be working at a gas station, but at least a job which still will be, mm, professionally not very frustrating for you. So it could be, working as an admin somewhere, or you know, be a store manager, or those kind of jobs, and they are available. I would say if you really look for those and apply for those. So during this interim period, I would say plan on doing something like that. Maybe do some part-time courses, and of course, keep on applying and developing your network so that you get into your area of work. Uh, and then, yeah, similar thing for the family members, I would say. If your spouse is also planning to work, he or she will have, these kind of opportunities here where they can, go and work. And then one thing to keep in mind that the opportunities are plenty, and there are no social stigmas here. It is not that 40 or 50-year-old cannot be sitting there with the 20-year-olds in the university and studying. And similarly, it is not that you cannot be working in Home Depot or Superstore and somebody will look down upon you. So that is one another big difference between Canada and back home, is that be open to working whatever. First of all, it keeps you going financially here, and also you don't sit idle and keep on getting frustrated. So that is another thing which comes to my mind uh, from family point of view. Uh, and then the third thing I would say is for the social aspect of it. Uh, if you have any known families here, of course, connect with them beforehand before you come here. And even if you don't have, then start developing that kind of networking, I would say. So, if you want to meet people from similar ethnic background as you, nowadays there are a lot of WhatsApp groups or Facebook groups. I would say join them as you are coming here, so that they can they can be your social support system, instead of feeling very lonely and an alien in your new uh, country of residence.
So one thing, thank you, Anil. I think I would just ask a follow-up question in network, professional network, actually. That a lot of people say, and to an extent, I think this is true as well, that reference is very important here in Canada. And building those references are also important. People come here, they start asking, can you, provide me a reference for a job, right? And then, but then what they lack is basically that if I don't know you, that I can't give you a reference for yourself, right? Or anybody else, like for that matter. How do you, and I think I know for sure that your network, your professional network is very strong, but what are those few tips that you think people should do to establish their professional network? Those are those may become a reference in like in upcoming time, and also you can learn from them in various aspects. So what are the tips that how do people develop social network, like professional network actually?
And yeah, I think this also goes back to one earlier mention which I made, is to make the semi-formal or personal connection with your, colleagues, peers, whether you are working directly with them or not. So if you have that kind of, relationship developed with them, not only it helps you in performing well in your current job, but if you happen to then have the need to change jobs, then they not only work as a good reference when you have been selected for a job, but really to get the jobs or the type of job in which you want to be in. And then from my personal experience, uh, whether it was on my own or due to the situation in my professional career here last 15 years, I have this is the fifth job I'm in. So I worked with a couple of EPC companies, then with Shell, and then with another mining company, and back to here in Calgary with an oil company. So I would say maybe half of those were through these professional networks I had created. Uh, and it really helped. And again, from a new immigrant point of view, uh, I know you won't have any professional network through which you can land up a job. It may not be direct, but you can find ways and means to have some indirect kind of networking. So maybe an ex-colleague of yours or a friend of yours might have somebody who is known here. So maybe start developing those proactively, so that when you come here, you land up a job in few months time or few weeks time instead of few years.
Mm. Okay, great. Anil, thank you very much for spending some time with me today on a Saturday, especially summer Saturdays. Summers are rare here in Canada, so thank you very much. I did get some valuable insights talking to you. And anything else that you wanted to say before we call it off?
No, my pleasure, Yunus. And again, I mean, the ultimate message I would give to the new immigrants is, come with an open mind, come prepared for the challenges and struggles you will have. Uh, don't be in two minds that okay, I'll go and try, and then if it doesn't work, I'll go back to India or Pakistan, or if I came from another place, Middle East. I would say don't have your uh, legs in two different boats. Come prepared for the struggle, initial struggle, I would say. And once you have done that, both professional and personal and family life is fantastic here in Canada.
Perfect. Okay, guys, there you have it. Anil Garg, Project Controls Manager, Suncor, and a friend of mine too. Anil, enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you again.
All right. Okay. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Anil.
Bye.
Okay, bye.